I always thought we had a good marriage. Maybe not perfect, who has that? But solid, stable. We had routines, traditions, inside jokes that spanned decades. We met in college, got married young, built a life together, bought a house, raised a daughter. I worked hard, provided well. I wasn't rich, but I gave them everything. I was the kind of man who believed in doing the right thing, in keeping my promises. And I loved her. God help me, I loved her. Looking back, I wonder how I missed the signs. 16 years. That's how long she carried this secret, weaving lie upon lie until our life together was just a stitched-up corpse of a marriage. 16 years of stolen moments, whispered phone calls, business trips that never made sense. Girls' weekends that left me with an uneasy feeling I buried deep. Then there was our daughter, Lily, my little girl. She had my heart from the moment I held her in that hospital room. I traced the tiny fingers, kissed the dark tufts of hair, and thought, she's mine. This is what love is. She didn't look much like me, but not every kid does. My wife Sarah had a million explanations. Your genes just didn't come through much. She has your smile, she has your kindness. She was a good liar, I'll give her that. And I was a fool. I worked late that night trying to finish a project before the weekend. The office was empty, lights buzzing faintly above me, my fingers stiff from typing. It was almost 10 when I finally packed up and headed home. The house was dark when I pulled into the driveway. No car. I checked my phone. No messages. That strange unease stirred in my gut again. I called. No answer. I texted. No response. Then my phone rang. Not Sarah, not Lily. It was Anna, Sarah's best friend. Her voice was shaking. "Matt," she said, breathless. "Matt, you need to—" A scream interrupted her, the sound of people shouting. "You were exposed! You're live on Facebook! Everyone can see!" "What the huck are you talking about?" I asked, my pulse spiking. "Oh my God, Matt! Sarah, she's—" A sudden knock at my car window made me jump. I turned my head, heart hammering. Lily stood outside the car, eyes red, cheeks wet, and in her hands, a stack of papers, a suitcase at her feet. My stomach dropped. She wasn't supposed to be here. She was supposed to be at her friend's house for the weekend. She lifted the papers and shoved them against the glass. I recognized them instantly. DNA results. I opened the door slowly. My hands were shaking. Lily's voice was cold, hollow. Dad removed his name from the birth certificate. He kicked us out. She swallowed hard. He said I have a real dad to pay for my college. I couldn't breathe. My ears were ringing. I looked at the papers again, my name erased, and a different name, right where mine used to be. 16 years. 16 years, and I had never noticed. I wasn't ready to believe it. Even as Lily stood there, fists clenched, tears streaking her face, I kept searching for some other explanation, something, anything, that made this not real. But the papers didn't lie, and neither did she. I took them from her hands, the pages trembling as I held them up to the dim streetlight. My name was gone, erased, and next to biological father was a man I had never even met. I was drowning. 16 years of love, bedtime stories, scraped knees, first days of school, birthday parties, and whispered, "I love you, Dad." Gone, fake, stolen. Lily was still talking, but her voice blurred into a low hum beneath the roar in my head. "Just threw our stuff on the lawn. Said it's his responsibility now. Mom tried calling, but he blocked her." Her next words cut through the haze like a knife. "He told me I was never yours." My breath caught. My vision darkened at the edges. And then rage. I didn't remember grabbing my keys. I didn't remember starting the car or the sound of Lily shouting behind me. All I knew was that I was driving, hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles went white. I had to find her. I had to hear it from her. 16 years earlier, I met Sarah in college. She was beautiful in that effortless way. Long dark hair, sharp blue eyes, and a smile that could make you forget your own name. I wasn't the kind of guy girls noticed. I was just Matt, Average, quiet, studious. But she noticed me. She made the first move. She always did. That was Sarah, bold, fearless, in control. Maybe that's what drew me to her. I thought she was perfect, out of my league. But somehow she chose me. We got married at 24, bought a house at 26. By 28, we had Lily. I remember the first time I held her. Sarah was exhausted, half asleep, but I was awake. I stayed up all night staring at this tiny, fragile thing in my arms, unable to believe she was real. I swore I would protect her, love her, be the best dad I could be. I worked long hours so Sarah could stay home. She always had a new hobby, painting, yoga, writing a blog that never really took off. I never questioned it. I was just happy to provide. And all those years she was sleeping with another man, raising his child in my house, with my money, and laughing behind my back. Present Sarah's car was parked in front of a house I didn't recognize. I didn't even hesitate. I pounded on the door so hard the frame rattled. The porch light flicked on. Footsteps. And then, Sarah. She stood there in nothing but a robe, her hair messy, skin flushed. Behind her, a shadow moved, a man's voice, his voice. "Who the high is that?" I saw red. Before I knew it, I was inside, shoving past her, fists clenched. I wanted to see him, the man she had chosen, the man I had unknowingly raised a child for. And there he was, tall, older, smug, standing in my wife's robe. He smirked, sipping from a glass of wine like I was some kind of joke, like I was the intruder. I lunged, my fist connected with his jaw, and he staggered back, cursing. Sarah screamed. I didn't care. I hit him again. For the years I wasted, for every lie, for my daughter. He tried to swing back, but he was slow, weak. I grabbed him by the collar, slamming him against the wall so hard a picture frame crashed to the floor. "You think this is funny?" I snarled. "You think ruining my family is a game?" He didn't answer, just glared, wiping blood from his lip. Sarah grabbed my arm. "Matt, stop, please." I turned to her, and that was the moment it hit me. She wasn't scared. She wasn't crying. She wasn't even sorry. She looked annoyed, like I had just embarrassed her, like I was the one ruining her life. The betrayal burned deep, but it was the injustice of it that broke me. 16 years of loyalty, and in the end, I was the one left with nothing. I stared at Sarah, waiting for an answer, some kind of excuse, an apology, anything. But she just crossed her arms and sighed like I was inconveniencing her. "Can we not do this here?" she muttered, glancing toward the window like she was afraid the neighbors might see. That's when I realized something terrifying. She wasn't ashamed. She wasn't even afraid of losing me. I let go of the bastard she had been sleeping with. He slumped against the wall, rubbing his jaw, but I barely looked at him. My eyes were locked on Sarah. I took a slow step forward. My voice was low, controlled. "Why?" She scoffed. Actually scoffed, like I was the idiot. "Why?" she repeated. "Matt, come on, you had to suspect something." I said nothing. She rolled her eyes. "Fine. You really want to know?" She sat down on the edge of the couch, crossing her legs like we were about to have a casual chat over coffee, like she hadn't just burned our entire life to the ground. 16 years ago, I realized something," she said. "You were a good guy, stable, reliable. You worked hard, but you weren't enough for me." Something inside me twisted. I needed excitement, passion, and She jerked her head toward the man behind me. "Gave me that, but you gave me security, a house, a future. I didn't want to lose that, so I decided to keep you both." She smiled as if she had solved some complex puzzle. "I got everything I wanted, Matt. Everything. And you never suspected a thing." My nails dug into my palms. "And Lily?" I forced the words out through clenched teeth. She had the audacity to laugh. "Oh, Matt, you really thought she was yours? You never even questioned it. Never noticed how she looked nothing like you, how she had none of your traits." My entire body went cold. I thought of Lily's first steps, her first words, every birthday, every bedtime story, every tear I had wiped away. I loved her, I raised her, and Sarah had known the truth the whole time. She leaned back, stretching, completely at ease. Honestly, I thought about telling you a few times, but I knew you'd stay no matter what. I was trembling now. She actually believed that. She actually thought she could say all this and I would just accept it. I looked over at the man she had chosen, the man who had stolen everything from me. He was still smirking. That arrogant, self-satisfied grin like he had already won. And maybe he had. Because he took my wife, he took my daughter, he took my entire life, and I had nothing left to lose. Revenge. I didn't go home that night. There was no home to go to. Instead, I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel so tight my fingers ached. My phone buzzed nonstop. Texts from friends, coworkers, even Sarah's family all asking the same thing. Is it true? Did she really do that? Matt, are you okay? I turned the phone over, staring at the dark screen. No, I wasn't okay. But I would be. Because Sarah thought she had won. She thought she had played me for a fool and I would just walk away. But she underestimated one thing. I wasn't a good man anymore. Sarah had built her life on lies. She had used me to fund her perfect little world, all while sleeping with another man and laughing behind my back. And now, I was going to burn that world to the ground. Step one was easy. I called my lawyer at sunrise. By noon, all our accounts were frozen, every joint bank account, every credit card in both our names. By evening, I had filed for divorce and demanded full financial investigation. Sarah had never worked a real job in her life. She depended on my money. And now she had none. Step two was exposing her. The Facebook video was already out there, but I made sure it didn't die down. I forwarded it to her parents, her siblings, every single person who ever thought she was a good wife. I posted the DNA results for everyone to see. I let the world judge her. And they did. Her perfect reputation, gone. Her social circle, vanished. Every friend, every neighbor, every parent from Lily's school, they all knew now. But I wasn't finished. Not even close. The final blow. 2 days later, Sarah showed up at my office. She looked like H-Star. No makeup, hair messy, wearing clothes that looked thrown on in a hurry. She stormed in, ignoring my assistant's protests. "Matt!" she snapped, slamming her hands on my desk. "What the fuck are you doing? You froze our accounts?" I leaned back in my chair, calm, smiling. "No, Sarah. I froze my accounts. The money was always mine." She blinked. Her lips parted slightly, like she had never considered that possibility, like it had never once occurred to her that she was entitled to nothing. "I have nothing," she whispered. "No house, no money, no credit cards." "Sounds rough," I said. Her face twisted with fury. "I have a daughter to take care of, Matt." I tilted my head. "Do you?" She went still. I continued, voice casual. "Because according to these documents, Lily is not my child, which means I have no legal obligation to either of you." She gasped, a real, genuine gasp. Finally, she realized what I had done. I had erased my name. I had made sure her lover was legally responsible for everything now. Sarah had used me for 16 years. Now she could see what it felt like to be used. Her mouth opened and closed. She had nothing left to say. And for the first time in our entire marriage, I watched her break. Sarah's lips trembled. Her eyes darted around the office like she was searching for a way out, but there was none. "Matt." Her voice was softer now, almost desperate. Almost. But I wasn't that fool anymore. I leaned back in my chair, watching her squirm. "What's wrong, Sarah? Thought you could live off me forever?" She swallowed hard. "We need to talk about this." I checked my watch. "No, Sarah. You need to figure out what happens next, because I'm done talking." Her face twisted, anger flashing in her eyes. "I'll fight this," she snapped. "You think you can just erase yourself from Lily's life? She's your daughter, blood or not." I exhaled slowly, almost disappointed, still trying to manipulate me, still thinking she had control. I pulled open a drawer, took out a folder, and tossed it onto the desk. "Read it." She hesitated, then flipped it open, and I watched as her world collapsed. Inside were court orders, DNA results, and signed legal documents. Lily wasn't mine, that was fact, and because of that, I had no financial obligations, no child support, no tuition, no shared assets. But there was more. One document in particular made her hands shake, a legal notice. I had filed for sole ownership of our house, and it had been approved. Sarah was officially homeless. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. I could see her mind racing, scrambling for a way to fix this. She had spent 16 years lying, stealing, laughing behind my back. Now she had nothing. Her hands curled into fists. "You can't do this," she hissed. I smiled. I already did. And then the office door burst open. Lily. She stood there, bags in hand, face pale, eyes burning with betrayal. Sarah turned to her. "Baby, it's okay." Lily stepped back, away from her, away from the woman who had lied to her too. "I read everything," Lily whispered. Her voice cracked, but she stood her ground. "Mom, how could you?" Sarah shook her head wildly. "No, it's not like that. Baby, listen." I did listen. Lily's hands were trembling. "You lied to me, to Dad, my whole life." Sarah's face collapsed. "I did it for us." Lily laughed, a broken, bitter sound. "For us?" she choked out. "You used him. You used me." I stood up. Lily turned to me, and for the first time since this nightmare started, I saw relief in her eyes. "I want to stay with you," she whispered. Sarah's head snapped up. "What?" "I don't care what the papers say," Lily said, stronger now, looking at me, not Sarah. "You're my dad. I don't want anything to do with him." Sarah's mouth opened and closed. She had lost. Not just the money, not just the house, but the one person she thought would always love her. Lily turned back to me, pleading, "Please, Dad, don't leave me with them." I looked at my daughter, not by blood, but by everything else that mattered, and I made my choice. I reached out and took her hand. Sarah screamed. Sarah lunged forward like a wild animal, grabbing at Lily's wrist, her face twisted in panic. She knew she had lost everything, and now she was losing the one thing she thought she could keep, control. "No, no, no, Lily, listen to me," she begged, fingers digging into her daughter's arm. "You don't understand. He's manipulating you. He's trying to turn you against me." Lily yanked her arm away like she'd been burned. Her eyes blazed with pure hatred. "You did that yourself." Sarah froze. Lily wiped her face with her sleeve, voice shaking but deadly serious. "I hate you." The words physically hit Sarah. Her whole body swayed, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "Baby, no, you don't mean that." But Lily did mean it, and she wasn't alone. I stepped between them, shielding my daughter from the woman who had ruined both of our lives. "Lily and I are leaving," I said coldly. "You? You're on your own." Sarah's eyes darted back and forth, searching for some kind of opening, some kind of control. She found none. Her voice broke. "Matt, please, don't say my name." She flinched. I turned, placing a hand on Lily's back, guiding her toward the door. We had nothing left to say, but just as we stepped outside, Sarah screamed, not in rage, not in defiance, but in desperation. "Wait, what am I supposed to do?" We stopped. I turned slightly, just enough to see her. The once beautiful, powerful woman who had always been in control, now broken, desperate, alone. I let the silence stretch, let her feel the emptiness she had created. Then finally I answered, "Ask him." I nodded toward her lover, the man she had chosen over me for 16 years, the man who now stood completely still, silent, expressionless. Sarah turned to him, realizing in real time what I already knew. that he wasn't going to save her, that he never planned to. He took a step back, just one, but enough. Sarah's breath hitched. Wait, honey, you wouldn't. He sighed, adjusted his shirt, shrugged. Yeah, this isn't my problem. And just like that, he walked away. Sarah collapsed. I watched her hit her knees on the cold tile floor, gasping for breath, hands clutching her hair. The final betrayal. The final perfect moment of karma. Because for 16 years she had played this game, manipulated, deceived, lied. And now, she was alone. She deserved every second of it. I turned back to Lily. Let's go home. And together, we left.